Thousands of years ago, under a sky unpolluted by modern lights, ancient people gazed upward and saw patterns in the stars that told stories, marked time, and even predicted the future. Among these celestial events, eclipses stood out as moments of awe and mystery, where the sun or moon seemed to vanish before reappearing in a breathtaking cosmic dance. But here's the thing, these cultures didn't just watch in wonder. They studied, calculated, and mastered the ability to predict these events with astonishing accuracy. No telescopes, no computers, just the naked eye, ingenuity, and a deep connection to the heavens. How did they do it? What secrets did they uncover about the cosmos that allowed them to foresee these dramatic celestial shifts? In this video, we'll journey back in time to uncover the brilliant methods of ancient astronomers, from the Babylonians and their meticulous records to the Mayans and their precise calendars, and the Chinese who saw eclipses as messages from the gods. Along the way, you'll discover how these cultures not only predicted eclipses but also wove them into the very fabric of their societies. By the end, you'll see the night sky through their eyes and gain a newfound respect for the scientific and spiritual wisdom of our ancestors. Let's unravel the mysteries of ancient eclipse prediction, one celestial clue at a time. Picture this: over 2.5 millennia ago, in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, a group of astronomers gazed up at the night sky, not just in wonder but with a purpose. The Babylonians, known for their advanced mathematical and astronomical skills, made a groundbreaking discovery that would change the way humanity understood the cosmos. They identified what we now call the Saros Cycle, a repeating pattern of eclipses that occurs roughly every 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. But how did they do it? The Babylonians didn't have telescopes or computers. Instead, they relied on painstaking observation and record-keeping. Night after night, they tracked the movements of the moon and the sun, noting every detail of lunar phases, eclipses, and other celestial events. Over generations, they amassed a treasure trove of data, meticulously recorded on clay tablets. These records weren't just casual notes, they were precise, detailed accounts that allowed them to spot patterns invisible to the casual observer. One of their most remarkable achievements was the creation of eclipse prediction tables. By analyzing their records, they realized that eclipses didn't happen randomly. Instead, they followed a predictable rhythm tied to the Saros Cycle. Once an eclipse occurred, they could calculate with surprising accuracy when and where the next one would appear. This wasn't just guesswork, it was science, centuries before the term even existed. What's truly astonishing is how accurate their predictions were. Using their tables, Babylonian astronomers could forecast eclipses not just years but centuries into the future. Imagine the level of dedication it took to compile and interpret this data without the tools we take for granted today. Their work laid the foundation for modern astronomy, influencing later civilizations like the Greeks and even shaping our understanding of the cosmos today. So, what made the Saros Cycle so special? It's all about alignment. After one Saros cycle, the Earth, Moon, and Sun return to nearly the same positions relative to each other, creating similar eclipse conditions. The Babylonians didn't know the exact mechanics of why this happened, but their observations allowed them to harness this natural rhythm to predict celestial events with remarkable precision. Their methods weren't just about science, they were deeply tied to their culture and religion. Eclipses were seen as omens, messages from the gods. Being able to predict them gave the Babylonian priests and rulers a sense of control and authority. It wasn't just about understanding the sky, it was about understanding their place in the universe. The legacy of the Babylonians lives on today. Their discovery of the Saros Cycle remains a cornerstone of eclipse prediction, and their meticulous record-keeping set a standard for scientific observation that still inspires us. The next time you look up at a solar or lunar eclipse, remember the ancient astronomers who first unlocked its secrets and marvel at how their curiosity and dedication continue to shape our understanding of the world above. The Mayans, one of history's most sophisticated ancient civilizations, didn't just observe the skies, they lived by them. Their mastery of astronomy wasn't just a scientific achievement, it was the foundation of their culture. At the heart of their celestial knowledge was the long count calendar, a complex system that tracked time over vast periods, but it wasn't just about counting days. By combining this calendar with their deep understanding of the moon cycles, the Mayans achieved something extraordinary: the ability to predict eclipses with remarkable accuracy. For them, the heavens weren't just a distant mystery, they were a living, breathing part of their world. To make sense of the cosmos, the Mayans built observatory structures designed to align perfectly with the movements of celestial bodies. One of the most famous is the Caracol, located in the ancient city of Chichen Itza. This unique building, with its spiral shape and carefully placed windows, served as a celestial compass. The Mayans used it to track the sun, moon, and planets, gathering the data they needed to predict events like eclipses. Imagine standing inside the Caracol, watching as the light from a rising sun or setting moon filtered through its narrow openings, marking the passage of time with mathematical precision. For the Mayans, eclipses weren't just astronomical events, they were deeply spiritual. They believed that an eclipse was a message from the gods, a moment when the divine realm intervened in the human world. These celestial phenomena were often seen as omens, sometimes of great change, other times of impending danger. Kings and priests would interpret these signs, using them to guide their decisions and rituals. An eclipse could signal the need for a new temple, a change in leadership, or even a call to war. In this way, the Mayans wove the cosmic into the everyday, making the heavens an integral part of their society. What's truly remarkable is how their legacy endures. Even today, the Mayans' understanding of the cosmos continues to inspire awe. Their ability to predict eclipses without modern tools speaks to their ingenuity and dedication. They didn't have telescopes or satellites, but they had something equally powerful: a profound connection to the universe around them. Their achievements remind us that the stars have always been more than just points of light. They've been guides, storytellers, and teachers for civilizations across time. In ancient China, the skies were more than just a canvas of stars. They were a reflection of earthly power and divine will. Eclipses, in particular, held immense significance, seen as celestial messages that could either affirm or challenge the emperor's mandate to rule. The Chinese believed that a harmonious relationship between heaven and earth was essential for stability, and any disruption in the heavens, like an eclipse, demanded careful interpretation and response. This belief drove Chinese astronomers to develop some of the most advanced predictive systems of their time. One of their key tools was the gnomon, a simple yet ingenious device used to track the sun's movement by measuring the length of its shadow. Combined with the armillary sphere, a complex model of the heavens, Chinese astronomers could map the positions of celestial bodies with remarkable precision. These instruments allowed them to create detailed records of eclipses, which were meticulously documented in texts like the Book of Documents. These records weren't just scientific achievements, they were vital for maintaining political and social order. When an eclipse was predicted, the emperor would often perform rituals to appease the heavens, ensuring his reign remained secure and the empire stable. But while the astronomers worked with precision and logic, the general populace understood eclipses through a more colorful lens: the myth of the celestial dragon. According to legend, eclipses occurred when a dragon attempted to devour the sun or moon. To drive the dragon away, people would bang drums and pots, creating a cacophony of noise that supposedly scared the beast into releasing its celestial prey. This blend of science and storytelling reveals how ancient Chinese culture balanced empirical observation with imaginative explanations, making the mysteries of the cosmos accessible to everyone. What's fascinating is how these two perspectives, scientific and mythological, coexisted. The astronomers' precise predictions were trusted by the ruling class, while the dragon myth provided a vivid, relatable explanation for the public. Together, they created a system where science served the state and mythology served the people, each reinforcing the other. This unique interplay offers a glimpse into how ancient cultures could weave together the practical and the poetic, turning celestial events into moments of both wonder and necessity. As we reflect on these ancient methods, it's worth considering how they shaped the way people understood their place in the universe. The Chinese approach wasn't just about predicting eclipses, it was about finding meaning in the skies, connecting the heavens to the earth, and ensuring that every cosmic event had a purpose. This blend of astronomy and mythology reminds us that the stars have always been more than just distant lights. They've been mirrors of human beliefs, fears, and aspirations. Standing silently on the Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge has puzzled historians and archaeologists for centuries. But what if this ancient monument was more than just a ceremonial site? What if it was a sophisticated tool for understanding the heavens? Let's take a closer look at how Stonehenge might have served as an ancient observatory, one capable of tracking celestial events like eclipses. The massive stones of Stonehenge are carefully arranged in a way that aligns with key astronomical events. For instance, during the summer solstice, the rising sun shines directly through the center of the structure, casting light along the heel stone. Similarly, the winter solstice sunset aligns perfectly with the monument's central axis. These precise alignments suggest that the builders of Stonehenge had an extraordinary grasp of the sun's movements. But it doesn't stop there. Some researchers believe the monument also reflects an understanding of the moon's cycles, particularly the lunar standstill, a rare event that occurs roughly every 18 years when the moon reaches its highest and lowest points in the sky. How does this connect to eclipses? Well, eclipses occur when the sun, moon, and earth align in specific ways. By tracking the sun and moon's positions over time, the builders of Stonehenge may have been able to predict these celestial phenomena. One theory suggests that the Aubrey holes, a ring of pits surrounding the monument, could have been used to mark lunar cycles, acting as a kind of ancient calendar. Over time, observing these patterns could have allowed them to anticipate when an eclipse might occur. For Neolithic societies, eclipses were likely more than just astronomical events. They held deep cultural and spiritual significance. An eclipse might have been seen as a moment when the natural order was disrupted, a sign from the gods or an omen of change. Stonehenge, as a place where the heavens and earth seemed to intersect, would have been the perfect setting to observe and interpret these powerful occurrences. The mystery of Stonehenge endures partly because its exact purpose remains elusive. Was it a temple, a calendar, or an observatory? Perhaps it was all of these things. What we do know is that the people who built it had a profound connection to the cosmos, one that allowed them to create a structure that continues to inspire awe and curiosity thousands of years later. The stones of Stonehenge stand as a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand the universe and our place within it. In the depths of the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Greece, a remarkable discovery emerged from a shipwreck in the early 20th century. Known today as the Antikythera Mechanism, this ancient device has baffled historians and scientists alike. Dating back to around 100 BCE, it's often referred to as the world's first analog computer. But what made this mechanism so extraordinary? At its core, it was a sophisticated tool designed to predict eclipses and track the movements of celestial bodies with astonishing precision. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just a simple calendar or timekeeping device. It was a marvel of engineering, featuring a complex system of interlocking gears and dials. These components worked together to model the cycles of the Sun, Moon, and even the 5 known planets of the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. By turning a hand crank, users could align the gears to simulate the positions of these celestial bodies, effectively predicting their movements years in advance. Imagine holding a machine that could tell you when the next solar eclipse would occur, crafted more than 2,000 years ago. What's even more fascinating is how the device reflected the ancient Greeks' deep understanding of astronomy and mathematics. The mechanism's gears were calibrated to replicate the Metonic cycle, a 19-year period that aligns the lunar and solar calendars, as well as the Saros Cycle, which predicts eclipses over an 18-year span. These cycles weren't just random observations, they were the result of meticulous calculations and a profound grasp of celestial mechanics. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just a scientific tool, it was a cultural artifact that showcased the ingenuity of its creators. It reminds us that ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we often give them credit for. This intricate device wasn't just about predicting eclipses, it was a bridge between the heavens and earth, a tangible representation of humanity's enduring quest to understand the cosmos. As we marvel at the complexity of this ancient computer, it's worth considering how its creators achieved such precision without the tools and technologies we take for granted today. The Antikythera Mechanism stands as a testament to the brilliance of ancient Greek engineering and their unrelenting curiosity about the universe. It's a reminder that even thousands of years ago, humanity was reaching for the stars literally and figuratively. Imagine standing under the sky thousands of years ago, watching the sun or moon slowly disappear. Without the tools or knowledge we have today, how would you explain such a phenomenon? For ancient cultures, the answer often lay in the realm of mythology. Across the globe, eclipses were woven into the fabric of stories, tales of celestial dragons, vengeful gods, or cosmic battles that explained the sudden darkness. These myths weren't just entertainment, they were a way to make sense of the unknown, blending observation with imagination. Take Chinese mythology, for example. Ancient Chinese astronomers believed that solar eclipses occurred when a celestial dragon devoured the sun. To save the sun, people would bang drums and pots, creating a cacophony to scare the dragon away. Over time, they began to notice patterns in these events, using their observations to predict when the dragon might strike again. This combination of myth and meticulous record-keeping laid the foundation for some of the earliest eclipse predictions. In Norse mythology, eclipses were seen as the work of wolves chasing the sun and moon. The story goes that Skal and Hati, 2 giant wolves, were destined to catch and consume these celestial bodies, plunging the world into darkness. But even in these dramatic tales, there's a hint of astronomical insight. The Norse recognized that eclipses were cyclical, tying their myths to the natural rhythms of the sky. Hindu legends offer another fascinating perspective. In the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata, eclipses are linked to the demon Rahu, who attempts to drink the nectar of immortality. When caught, the sun and moon are severed from his body, causing him to chase them eternally across the sky. This myth not only explains eclipses but also reflects a deep understanding of their regularity, as Hindu astronomers used these stories to refine their celestial calendars. What's remarkable is how these myths, though steeped in imagination, often carried kernels of truth. They weren't just flights of fancy, they were tools for understanding. By personifying the forces at play in the sky, ancient cultures made the cosmos relatable, turning abstract celestial events into stories that could be passed down through generations. And in doing so, they laid the groundwork for the scientific methods that would follow. These stories also reveal something universal. humanity's enduring fascination with the heavens. Whether it was a dragon, a wolf, or a demon, the characters in these myths reflect our ancestors' attempts to grapple with the mysteries of the universe. They remind us that science and storytelling have always been intertwined, each shaping the way we see the world and the skies above. Imagine trying to predict something as awe-inspiring as a solar eclipse without telescopes, computers, or even a basic understanding of planetary motion. For ancient civilizations, this monumental task relied on one critical practice: meticulous record-keeping. Across centuries, cultures like the Babylonians, Chinese, and Mayans documented celestial events with astonishing precision, carving their observations into clay tablets, etching them onto stone monuments, and inscribing them onto scrolls. These records weren't just casual notes, they were the foundation of astronomical knowledge passed down through generations. Scribes and astronomers played a vital role, acting as the custodians of the skies, ensuring that every eclipse, every celestial anomaly was carefully recorded. Over time, these detailed observations allowed them to identify patterns like the Saros Cycle and make predictions with remarkable accuracy. Their dedication to documenting the heavens wasn't just about curiosity. It was a way to understand the rhythms of the cosmos and, in many cases, to appease the gods who they believed controlled these events. Today, we still benefit from their work, as these ancient records provide invaluable insights into not only their world but also our own place in the universe. The legacy of their meticulous observation and preservation is a testament to the power of human curiosity and the enduring quest to unlock the secrets of the skies. One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient eclipse prediction lies in the sophisticated use of mathematics. While today we rely on advanced technology and precise instruments, civilizations like the Babylonians and Greeks turned to geometry, trigonometry, and arithmetic to unlock the secrets of the skies. These ancient mathematicians didn't just observe the heavens, they calculated them. By carefully tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, they developed mathematical models that could predict when and where an eclipse would occur. The Babylonians, for instance, were masters of arithmetic. They used fractions and ratios to create detailed records of celestial events, meticulously noting patterns over centuries. One of their most remarkable achievements was the Saros Cycle, a period of approximately 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours, after which eclipses repeat in a similar pattern. By understanding this cycle, they could predict lunar eclipses with impressive accuracy. Their methods weren't just about numbers, they were about recognizing the rhythms of the cosmos and translating them into something tangible. Meanwhile, the Greeks took a more geometric approach. Thinkers like Hipparchus and later Ptolemy used trigonometry to map the positions of celestial bodies. They understood that the Earth, Moon, and Sun moved in predictable patterns, and by applying geometric principles, they could calculate the angles and distances needed to predict eclipses. Ptolemy's work, in particular, laid the foundation for much of Western astronomy. His mathematical models, though based on an Earth-centered universe, were so precise that they remained influential for over 1,000 years. What's truly remarkable is how these ancient mathematicians worked without the tools we take for granted today. No telescopes, no computers, just their minds, their observations, and their unshakable belief in the power of numbers. Their innovations weren't just about predicting eclipses, they were about understanding the universe itself. By developing these mathematical tools, they paved the way for the scientific breakthroughs that would come centuries later, influencing fields as diverse as physics, engineering, and even space exploration. This blend of observation and calculation shows just how deeply ancient cultures understood the cosmos. They didn't just see eclipses as random events. They saw them as part of a larger, predictable system, one that could be understood and even mastered through mathematics. And while their methods might seem primitive by today's standards, their legacy lives on in the equations and principles that still guide modern science. Now think about this for a moment. What would it have been like to witness an eclipse thousands of years ago without the scientific knowledge we have today? For ancient societies, an eclipse wasn't just a celestial event. It was a moment that shook the very fabric of their reality. These dramatic disappearances of the sun or moon weren't merely natural phenomena. They were messages, warnings, or even battles unfolding in the heavens. Every culture, from the Mayans to the Chinese, the Babylonians to the Norse, had its own unique way of interpreting these cosmic events, and those interpretations reveal just how deeply humanity has always been tied to the skies. Take the ancient Chinese, for example. They saw solar eclipses as a sign that a celestial dragon was devouring the sun. To them, it wasn't just a shadow crossing the sun. It was a cosmic struggle, a moment when the balance of the universe hung in the balance. To ward off the dragon and restore order, they'd bang drums, shoot arrows into the sky, and chant prayers. These rituals weren't just symbolic, they were acts of survival, a way to ensure the sun would return and life could continue as normal. Then there were the Norse, who believed eclipses were caused by two wolves, Skal and Hati, chasing the sun and moon across the sky. When one of them caught their prey, darkness would fall. For the Norse, this wasn't just a story, it was a reminder of the fragility of the world, a cosmic cycle of creation and destruction that mirrored their own lives. It's fascinating how these interpretations weren't just about fear. They were also about finding meaning in the chaos, a way to make sense of the unknown. And let's not forget the Maya, whose intricate calendar system allowed them to predict eclipses with incredible accuracy. But for the Maya, these events weren't just dates on a calendar, they were moments of great spiritual significance. Eclipses were seen as times of transformation when the gods could intervene in human affairs. Rulers often used these events to reinforce their power, claiming a direct connection to the divine. The Maya even built observatories to track the movements of the sun and moon, blending science and spirituality in a way that feels almost modern. What's striking about all these interpretations is how they reflect a universal human desire to find meaning in the cosmos. Whether it was through drumming, storytelling, or building monuments, ancient societies used eclipses to connect with something greater than themselves. These events weren't just disruptions in the sky, they were moments of reflection, reminders of humanity's place in the vast, mysterious universe. And isn't that something we still feel today, even with all our scientific knowledge? The awe, the wonder, the sense that we're part of something much larger than ourselves. Imagine standing in the heart of an ancient civilization, gazing up at the night sky from the steps of a towering structure, meticulously designed to align with the stars. This was the reality for astronomers in cultures like the Mayans, the Chinese, and the Greeks, who built observatories that were nothing short of marvels of engineering and ingenuity. These structures weren't just grand monuments, they were scientific instruments carefully crafted to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Take, for example, the Mayan observatory at Chichen Itza, known as El Caracol. Its circular design and narrow windows were strategically placed to track the movements of Venus, a planet of great significance to Mayan cosmology. By observing Venus's cycles, Mayan astronomers could predict eclipses and other celestial events with remarkable accuracy. Similarly, in ancient China, observatories like the one in Gaocheng were equipped with armillary spheres and gnomon devices to measure the sun's shadow, allowing them to calculate solstices and equinoxes with precision. The Greeks, too, left their mark on the history of astronomy with structures like the Tower of the Winds in Athens. This octagonal building served not only as a timekeeping device, but also as a tool for tracking the movements of the sun and stars. Its design reflected the Greeks' deep understanding of geometry and their belief in the harmony between the heavens and the earth. What makes these observatories truly extraordinary is how they combined art and science. They weren't just functional, they were beautiful, often adorned with intricate carvings and symbolic designs that reflected the cultural values of their builders. But beyond their aesthetic appeal, these structures were data collection hubs. Ancient astronomers used them to record the positions of celestial bodies over decades, even centuries, creating a wealth of knowledge that allowed them to detect patterns and make predictions. The legacy of these observatories extends far beyond their time. Modern astronomers still draw inspiration from their methods, recognizing the ingenuity of these ancient scientists who, without telescopes or computers, mapped the skies with astonishing accuracy. By studying their techniques and tools, we gain a deeper appreciation for how they laid the groundwork for the astronomy we know today. These observatories remind us that the desire to understand the universe is as old as humanity itself, and that the stars have always been our greatest teachers. One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient eclipse predictions is how they continue to shape modern science. The meticulous observations and ingenious calculations made by early astronomers weren't just impressive for their time. They laid the groundwork for entire fields of study that we rely on today. Astronomy, mathematics, and even physics owe a great deal to these early pioneers, who managed to decode the patterns of the cosmos with nothing but their eyes, simple tools, and sheer determination. Take, for instance, the Babylonians and their clay tablets. These ancient records didn't just document eclipses, they revealed a sophisticated understanding of celestial cycles. Modern researchers have studied these tablets to uncover patterns in lunar and solar eclipses, and the results are astonishing. The Babylonians' ability to predict eclipses with such accuracy was based on their discovery of what we now call the Saros Cycle, a period of approximately 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours after which eclipses repeat. This discovery wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was the product of centuries of careful observation and record-keeping. Today, the Saros Cycle is still used by astronomers to forecast eclipses, proving that ancient knowledge remains relevant in our modern world. But it's not just about predicting eclipses. Ancient records have also helped scientists study changes in Earth rotation over time. By comparing the timing and locations of historical eclipses recorded by civilizations like the Chinese or the Greeks with modern calculations, researchers can track tiny variations in Earth rotation. These variations, though seemingly insignificant, have profound implications for fields like geophysics and climate science. Essentially, ancient eclipse records serve as a time capsule, offering a glimpse into the Earth's past and helping us understand how our planet has evolved. The influence of ancient astronomy extends beyond practical applications. It's a reminder of humanity's enduring curiosity and ingenuity. These early astronomers didn't have telescopes or computers, yet they managed to unlock secrets of the universe that still resonate today. Their work challenges us to think creatively and persistently, even when the tools at our disposal seem limited. In many ways, the bridge between ancient and modern science isn't just about knowledge, it's about the spirit of discovery that connects us across time. So, the next time you look up at the sky during an eclipse, remember that you're witnessing a phenomenon that has fascinated humans for thousands of years. From the Babylonians to today's astrophysicists, the story of eclipse prediction is a testament to the power of observation, curiosity, and the relentless pursuit of understanding. It's a story that continues to unfold, with each generation building on the discoveries of the past to illuminate the mysteries of the cosmos. Long before telescopes or computers, ancient astronomers looked to the night sky and noticed something extraordinary. The moon didn't just wander aimlessly. It followed a precise, predictable rhythm. This rhythm, the lunar cycle, became one of the most critical tools for predicting eclipses. By carefully observing the moon's phases, from the thin crescent of a new moon to the full, glowing orb, they began to unlock the secrets of its movements. But it wasn't just about watching the moon wax and wane. They needed to understand its orbit, its relationship with the sun, and the moments when these celestial bodies aligned in perfect harmony. At the heart of this understanding was a concept called syzygy. Now, that might sound like a mouthful, but it's simply the term for when the sun, moon, and earth line up in a straight line. This alignment is what causes eclipses. When the moon passes directly between the sun and earth, we get a solar eclipse. When the earth blocks the sun's light from reaching the moon, a lunar eclipse occurs. Ancient astronomers didn't have the luxury of modern tools, but they didn't need them. Through patient observation and meticulous record-keeping, they could predict when these alignments would happen, often years in advance. What's truly remarkable is how they achieved this. They didn't just rely on chance or guesswork. They tracked the moon's movements over decades, noting patterns and cycles. For example, they observed that lunar eclipses tend to repeat every 18 years and 11 days, a cycle now known as the Saros Cycle. This wasn't just a random discovery. It was the result of generations of astronomers passing down their knowledge, refining their calculations, and building on what their predecessors had learned. Their ability to predict eclipses with such precision shows just how advanced their understanding of the cosmos really was. Think about it. Without satellites or computers, they mapped the moon's orbit, calculated its phases, and predicted celestial events that would inspire awe and fear in equal measure. It's a testament to human ingenuity and curiosity. And while we might take eclipses for granted today, knowing exactly when and where they'll happen, it's worth pausing to appreciate the brilliance of those who first unlocked this celestial puzzle. Their mastery of lunar cycles wasn't just about science, it was about understanding the universe itself. While the moon's cycles were undeniably central to eclipse prediction, ancient cultures didn't stop there. They also turned their gaze to the sun, recognizing its equally vital role in the dance of the cosmos. The sun's movements, like those of the moon, followed predictable patterns, and tracking these became another cornerstone of their celestial knowledge. By observing the solar year, the time it takes for the Earth to complete one orbit around the sun, they gained critical insights into when and where eclipses might occur. The solar year, lasting approximately 365 days, was a key piece of the puzzle. Ancient astronomers noticed that the sun's position in the sky shifted subtly each day, tracing a path known as the ecliptic. This path wasn't just a random wander, it intersected with the moon's orbit at specific points, creating the potential for eclipses. By mapping the sun's journey alongside the moon's phases, they could anticipate these moments of alignment with remarkable precision. What's truly fascinating is how they achieved this without the tools we rely on today. Using simple yet ingenious methods, like observing shadows cast by fixed objects or tracking the sun's rising and setting points, they built a sophisticated understanding of solar cycles. For example, the ancient Egyptians used obelisks to measure the sun's movement, while the Maya constructed elaborate observatories to chart its path. These observations weren't just about marking time, they were about unlocking the secrets of the heavens. By combining their knowledge of solar and lunar cycles, these early astronomers could predict eclipses with surprising accuracy. They understood that an eclipse could only happen when the sun, moon, and earth aligned perfectly, and they used their observations to calculate when these alignments would occur. This dual focus on both the sun and the moon highlights their holistic approach to celestial mechanics, showcasing a level of sophistication that still amazes us today. Their ability to track the sun's path across the sky wasn't just a scientific achievement, it was a testament to their dedication and ingenuity. It reminds us that even without modern technology, the human mind is capable of extraordinary feats when driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the universe. And it's this spirit of exploration that continues to inspire us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of the cosmos. The ancient world didn't have telescopes or satellites, but they had something just as powerful: geometry. By studying the shapes and patterns in the sky, ancient astronomers unlocked the secrets of the cosmos. They didn't just see the stars as random points of light. They saw a celestial blueprint, one they could map using angles, circles, and triangles. These geometric tools became the foundation of their ability to predict eclipses and track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets with remarkable precision. Take, for example, the concept of angles. Ancient astronomers understood that the angle between the sun, moon, and Earth was key to predicting eclipses. By measuring these angles, they could determine when the moon would align perfectly with the sun, casting its shadow on Earth. They used simple yet ingenious tools like the gnomon, a vertical stick that cast a shadow, to track the sun's path across the sky. From these shadows, they could calculate the angles needed to predict celestial events. Circles played a central role too. The ancient Greeks, in particular, believed that the heavens moved in perfect circular orbits. They used this idea to create models of the solar system, with Earth at the center and the sun, moon, and planets moving in concentric circles around it. While we now know these models weren't entirely accurate, they were incredibly effective for their time. By dividing these circles into degrees and using geometry to calculate positions, they could forecast eclipses years in advance. Triangles were another critical tool. The Babylonians, for instance, used triangular relationships to map the positions of celestial bodies. By connecting points in the sky, they created a kind of celestial trigonometry, allowing them to predict when and where eclipses would occur. These methods were so advanced that they laid the groundwork for the trigonometric principles we still use today. What's truly astonishing is how these ancient geometric techniques remain relevant. Modern astronomers still rely on the same basic principles: angles, circles, and triangles. To study the universe, the tools may have evolved, but the foundation was built thousands of years ago by people who looked at the night sky and saw not just beauty, but order. Their geometric innovations remind us that sometimes the simplest shapes can reveal the most profound truths. Ancient cultures didn't just look to the stars for answers, they wove stories around them. Myths about the sun, moon, and planets weren't just tales to pass the time. They were the foundation of early astronomical knowledge. Picture this: a society where every celestial event was tied to the actions of gods, spirits, or mythical creatures. Eclipses, for example, weren't random occurrences. They were often seen as cosmic battles or divine interventions. These stories didn't just explain the unknown, they sparked curiosity, prompting people to observe, record, and predict the movements of the heavens. Take the ancient Greeks, for instance. Their myths painted the sun as the chariot of Helios riding across the sky each day. This vivid imagery wasn't just poetic, it encouraged people to track the sun's path, leading to discoveries about solstices and equinoxes. Similarly, the Babylonians saw eclipses as omens, believing they carried messages from the gods. This belief drove them to meticulously document these events, creating some of the earliest eclipse prediction systems. Myth and science weren't separate, they were intertwined, each feeding into the other. What's fascinating is how these myths weren't just about fear or superstition. They were tools for understanding. By personifying celestial bodies, ancient cultures made the vast and mysterious cosmos feel familiar and approachable. This storytelling didn't just explain the stars, it inspired people to look closer, to ask questions, and to seek patterns in the sky. The result, a deeper connection to the universe and a foundation for the scientific advancements that would follow. The creativity of these ancient societies is something to marvel at. They didn't have telescopes or satellites, but they had imagination, and that imagination led them to map the heavens in ways that still amaze us today. By blending myth with observation, they turned the unknown into a source of wonder and discovery. It's a reminder that science and storytelling aren't opposites, they're two sides of the same coin, each driving us to explore the mysteries of our world. In ancient societies, the stars were more than just points of light in the night sky. They were a source of power, mystery, and meaning. And at the heart of understanding these celestial wonders were the priests and scholars, the custodians of astronomical knowledge. These individuals weren't merely stargazers. They were highly skilled observers, meticulous record keepers, and visionary predictors of cosmic events. Their work was deeply intertwined with the fabric of their cultures, shaping religion, guiding politics, and even influencing the education of future generations. Take, for example, the ancient Babylonians. Their priests were among the first to systematically track the movements of the moon, sun, and planets. They didn't just watch the skies, they documented everything. Their clay tablets, filled with precise observations, reveal an astonishing level of detail. They noticed patterns like the recurring cycles of lunar eclipses and used this knowledge to predict future events. But their role went beyond science. In Babylonian culture, celestial phenomena were seen as messages from the gods. This meant priests didn't just interpret the stars, they were intermediaries between the heavens and the people. Their predictions could influence everything from agricultural planning to royal decisions, making them indispensable to both spiritual and political life. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the alignment of temples and monuments with celestial bodies wasn't just an architectural feat, it was a reflection of the priests' deep understanding of astronomy. The annual flooding of the Nile, so crucial to their survival, was closely tied to the rising of the star Sirius. By tracking this event, priests could predict the flood's arrival, ensuring the kingdom's prosperity. Their knowledge wasn't confined to temples, though. It was passed down through generations, often in secretive or ritualized ways, ensuring that the wisdom of the stars remained a closely guarded treasure. But it wasn't just about religion or agriculture. Ancient scholars in places like China and Greece took a more analytical approach. Chinese astronomers, for instance, meticulously recorded celestial events, including solar and lunar eclipses, comets, and even supernova. These records weren't just for show, they were used to refine calendars and improve the accuracy of predictions. In Greece, scholars like Ptolemy built on earlier Babylonian and Egyptian knowledge, creating detailed models of the cosmos that would influence Western thought for centuries. What's truly remarkable is how these ancient astronomers managed to preserve and share their knowledge. Without the internet or printing presses, they relied on oral traditions, written records, and even symbolic art to pass down their insight. This wasn't just about preserving data, it was about maintaining a connection to the cosmos, ensuring that each generation could continue to learn from the stars. The legacy of these ancient priests and scholars is undeniable. Their work laid the foundation for modern astronomy, proving that even without telescopes or computers, the human mind is capable of unlocking the secrets of the universe. And while their methods may seem primitive by today's standards, their dedication to observation, documentation, and prediction reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is timeless, and that the stars have always been a bridge between the past, the present, and the future. Among the many ways ancient cultures made sense of the skies, art stands out as one of the most fascinating. Paintings, carvings, and sculptures weren't just decorative. They served as a powerful medium for recording and interpreting celestial events like eclipses. These artistic works provide a vivid glimpse into how ancient civilizations understood the cosmos and wove it into their cultural identity. Unlike written records, which could be lost or misinterpreted, art often carried a universal language, speaking across centuries to tell us how people experienced these awe-inspiring moments. Take, for example, the intricate carvings found in ancient Mayan temples. Many of these depict the sun and moon locked in a celestial dance, symbolizing the struggle between light and darkness during an eclipse. For the Maya, these events weren't just scientific phenomena. They were deeply spiritual, tied to their gods and the balance of the universe. By immortalizing eclipses in stone, they preserved not only the event itself, but also the emotions and beliefs surrounding it. Similarly, in ancient China, eclipses were often represented in paintings as dragons devouring the sun or moon. This imagery wasn't just dramatic, it reflected their understanding of cosmic forces at play. The dragon symbolized chaos and disruption, echoing the fear and reverence these events inspired. Through art, we see how eclipses were woven into the fabric of their myths, serving as both cautionary tales and reminders of the heavens' power. Even in Europe, where scientific thought began to take root, art continued to play a role in documenting eclipses. Medieval manuscripts often included illustrations of eclipses alongside astrological charts, blending observation with symbolism. These works reveal how eclipses were seen as omens, shaping everything from political decisions to personal destinies. What makes these artistic representations so compelling is their ability to capture not just the event but the human experience of it. They show us how ancient people grappled with the unknown, using creativity to make sense of the cosmos. Through their art, we're reminded that eclipses weren't just celestial events. They were moments that shaped cultures, inspired myths, and left an indelible mark on history. Long before the invention of writing, ancient cultures relied on something far more personal and powerful to preserve their understanding of the cosmos: oral traditions. Stories, songs, and rituals became the living libraries of astronomical knowledge, passed down from one generation to the next. Imagine sitting around a fire under a vast, starry sky, listening to an elder recount tales of the sun and moon's celestial dance, a dance that could foretell the arrival of an eclipse. These weren't just myths or entertainment. They were carefully crafted lessons encoded with critical information about the movements of the heavens. The role of storytellers and elders in these societies cannot be overstated. They were the keepers of wisdom, the ones entrusted with memorizing intricate details about the timing of eclipses, the positions of stars, and the cycles of the moon. Through repetition and rhythm, whether in the form of chants, songs, or epic narratives, they ensured that this knowledge remained intact over centuries. For example, in many indigenous cultures, specific stories about the sun being swallowed by a mythical creature were not just symbolic but practical reminders of what to expect during an eclipse. These narratives served as mnemonic devices, helping communities prepare for and interpret these awe-inspiring events. Rituals also played a crucial role in reinforcing this knowledge. In some cultures, ceremonies timed with celestial events helped embed astronomical patterns into the collective memory. A dance performed during a lunar eclipse or a chant sung at the solstice became a way to physically and emotionally connect with the rhythms of the universe. These practices weren't just about preserving facts, they were about creating a shared understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. What's remarkable is how accurate these oral traditions could be. Without telescopes or calculators, ancient societies managed to predict eclipses with surprising precision, all through the power of spoken word and communal memory. This highlights the ingenuity of human storytelling and the profound connection between culture and science. Even today, these traditions remind us that knowledge isn't always found in books or equations. It can live in the stories we tell and the songs we sing, passed down through the ages like a precious gift. As the ancient sky darkened during an eclipse, it wasn't just a celestial event, it was a call to action. For many ancient cultures, eclipses were moments of divine intervention where the gods themselves seemed to be sending a message. Rituals became the bridge between humanity and the heavens, a way to interpret and respond to these cosmic phenomena. Whether it was offering sacrifices, chanting prayers, or performing elaborate ceremonies, these practices weren't random. They were deeply tied to the astronomical knowledge of the time. Take the ancient Babylonians, for example. They believed that eclipses were omens, often signaling the death of a king or the fall of a kingdom. To prevent these dire outcomes, they enacted rituals known as substitute king ceremonies. A temporary ruler would be crowned, absorbing the ill fate of the eclipse while the true king went into hiding. This wasn't just superstition. It was a calculated response based on their understanding of celestial patterns. They meticulously recorded eclipses and used this data to predict future events, blending science and spirituality in a way that feels almost poetic. But rituals weren't just about appeasing the gods or avoiding disaster. They also reflected the profound cultural significance of eclipses. In many societies, these events symbolized chaos and renewal, a disruption of the natural order that required human intervention to restore balance. The ancient Chinese, for instance, saw eclipses as a dragon devouring the sun or moon. To save the celestial body, they would beat drums and shout to scare the dragon away. These rituals weren't just symbolic acts. They were a way for people to feel connected to the cosmos, to participate in the unfolding drama of the universe. What's fascinating is how these rituals reveal the deep connection between humanity and the cosmos. For ancient cultures, the sky wasn't just a distant backdrop. It was a living, breathing entity that influenced their daily lives. Eclipses were moments of awe and fear, but also of unity. The rituals brought communities together, creating a shared experience that transcended individual fears. They remind us that, even without modern science, our ancestors found ways to make sense of the unknown, weaving stories and traditions that connected them to the stars. This intersection of astronomy and rituals shows us how deeply intertwined human culture has always been with the night sky. It's a reminder that, long before telescopes and satellites, people looked up and saw not just light and shadow, but meaning and mystery. And in those moments of celestial wonder, they found ways to respond, not just as observers, but as active participants in the dance of the cosmos. When we think of ancient astronomy, names like Ptolemy or Hipparchus often come to mind. But what about the women who shaped the stars? Across ancient cultures, women were far more than passive observers. They were priestesses, scholars, and meticulous record keepers, playing a crucial role in the study of celestial events. In Mesopotamia, for instance, women known as Nadatu served as temple priestesses, dedicating their lives to the gods and the skies. These women weren't just spiritual leaders. They were also deeply involved in tracking lunar cycles and celestial patterns, which were essential for predicting eclipses. Their observations were so precise that they laid the groundwork for future astronomical advancements. In ancient Greece, figures like Aglaonike were said to possess the power to call down the moon, a phrase often interpreted as her ability to predict lunar eclipses. While her story is shrouded in myth, it speaks to the respect and awe that women astronomers commanded in their time. Similarly, in China, women like Ban Zhao, a scholar and historian, contributed to the meticulous recording of celestial events, ensuring that knowledge of eclipses and other phenomena was preserved for future generations. These women weren't just keeping records, they were actively shaping the way their societies understood the cosmos. What's fascinating is how their work challenges modern assumptions about gender roles in ancient societies. While we often imagine these cultures as patriarchal, the contributions of women in astronomy reveal a more nuanced picture. They weren't just participants in the scientific process, they were leaders, innovators, and custodians of knowledge. Their legacy reminds us that the history of astronomy is richer and more diverse than we might think, and their stories deserve to be told alongside those of their male counterparts. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember the women who, centuries ago, helped us make sense of the heavens. Across vast deserts, sprawling seas, and winding caravan routes, the ancient world was far more connected than we often realize. As merchants bartered goods and scholars exchanged ideas, they also carried something far more profound: knowledge. Among the most treasured secrets traded between civilizations was the art of predicting eclipses. Imagine a silk merchant from China sharing his people's lunar observations with a Babylonian astronomer in a bustling marketplace, or an Indian mathematician explaining celestial calculations to a Greek philosopher during a stopover in Alexandria. These exchanges weren't just about commerce or diplomacy, they were the lifeblood of scientific progress. The Silk Road, for instance, wasn't merely a highway for spices, silk, and precious metals. It was a conduit for ideas. As traders moved from east to west, they brought with them the astronomical techniques of their homelands. Chinese astronomers, for example, had developed sophisticated methods for tracking the moon's movements, which were crucial for predicting eclipses. When these methods reached the Middle East, they merged with the Babylonians' own meticulous records of the heavens, creating a richer, more nuanced understanding of celestial events. This fusion of knowledge didn't just stay in one place, it spread further, reaching the Mediterranean and beyond. But it wasn't just overland routes that carried these ideas. The Indian Ocean trade network played a pivotal role too. Sailors navigating by the stars relied on the observations and calculations of astronomers from India, Persia, and Arabia. These maritime traders didn't just transport goods, they carried star charts, mathematical tables, and even entire manuscripts detailing how to predict eclipses. It's fascinating to think that a sailor from the Arabian Peninsula might have used a technique originally developed in ancient India to warn his crew about an upcoming lunar eclipse, ensuring their safe passage. Scholars also played a crucial role in this exchange. In centers of learning like Baghdad's House of Wisdom, scholars from diverse backgrounds gathered to translate and synthesize astronomical texts. Greek works were translated into Arabic, Persian, and Sanskrit, while Indian and Chinese treatises found their way into the libraries of the Islamic world. This cross-pollination of ideas allowed astronomers to refine their methods, combining the best of each civilization's knowledge. The result, a more accurate and universal understanding of the skies. Even religious and spiritual exchanges contributed. Monks traveling along pilgrimage routes often carried with them not just sacred texts but also scientific knowledge. Buddhist monks, for example, brought Indian astronomical techniques to China and Tibet, while Islamic scholars preserved and expanded upon Greek and Persian astronomy during the Golden Age of Islam. These exchanges show how deeply intertwined science, religion, and culture were in the ancient world. The spread of astronomical knowledge wasn't just about sharing techniques, it was about building a collective understanding of the universe. Each civilization added its own insights, creating a mosaic of knowledge that transcended borders. This collaborative spirit reminds us that even in ancient times, humanity's greatest discoveries often came from working together, not in isolation. And as we'll see next, this shared knowledge didn't just stay in the realm of science, it shaped the very fabric of ancient societies. Long before modern telescopes or star charts, ancient civilizations looked to the night sky and saw more than just random points of light. They saw stories, gods, and patterns that guided their understanding of the cosmos. Constellations, those intricate groupings of stars, weren't just for navigation or mythology. They played a crucial role in predicting eclipses. By carefully observing how the sun and moon moved through these celestial markers, ancient astronomers could anticipate when these dramatic cosmic events would occur. Take, for example, the Babylonians, who meticulously tracked the moon's path through constellations like Taurus and Scorpius. They noticed that eclipses only happened when the sun and moon aligned near specific star patterns, a discovery that became the foundation of their eclipse predictions. Similarly, the Maya used constellations to map the movements of celestial bodies, creating a system so precise that it rivaled modern calculations. These star patterns weren't just tools, they were a language, a way to decode the rhythms of the universe. But constellations held more than just practical value. They were deeply woven into the cultural fabric of these societies. In ancient Greece, the constellation Draco, or the dragon, was associated with the myth of Ladon, the guardian of the golden apples. For the Chinese, the stars of the Big Dipper were linked to the celestial bureaucracy of the heavens, guiding both earthly rulers and cosmic events. These stories gave meaning to the stars, turning them into more than just markers. They became symbols of power, fate, and divine will. What's truly remarkable is how these ancient cultures blended art and science. The constellations weren't just mathematical tools, they were a canvas for storytelling, a way to merge the practical with the profound. By observing the stars, ancient astronomers didn't just predict eclipses, they connected their world to the heavens, creating a legacy that still inspires us today. And while we now have advanced technology to forecast these events, the artistry and ingenuity of their methods remind us that sometimes the most profound insights come from simply looking up. Imagine trying to predict an eclipse without the convenience of digital clocks or atomic timekeeping. For ancient civilizations, understanding time was not just a matter of convenience, it was a matter of survival, spirituality, and scientific achievement. To predict celestial events like eclipses, they first had to master the art of measuring time itself. This wasn't just about counting days and nights, it was about tracking the intricate dance of the sun, moon, and stars across the sky. So, how did they do it? Let's take a closer look. One of the earliest and most significant breakthroughs came with the creation of calendars. Ancient cultures like the Babylonians, Mayans, and Egyptians didn't just count days, they observed patterns. By carefully noting the cycles of the moon and the sun, they developed systems that could predict when these celestial bodies would align. For example, the Babylonians used a lunar calendar, tracking the phases of the moon to mark time. They noticed that eclipses often occurred at specific intervals, which allowed them to anticipate these events with remarkable accuracy. The Mayans, on the other hand, created a complex calendar system that combined solar and lunar cycles, giving them a detailed understanding of celestial rhythms. But calendars alone weren't enough. To refine their predictions, ancient astronomers needed tools to measure smaller increments of time. This led to the invention of early clocks and observational instruments. Sundials, for instance, used the position of the sun to mark the hours of the day. Water clocks or clepsydras measured time by the flow of water, providing a way to track time even at night. These innovations allowed civilizations to break down days into hours and minutes, giving them the precision needed to predict eclipses down to the hour or even the minute. What's truly fascinating is how these timekeeping methods were tied to the stars. Ancient astronomers didn't just rely on mechanical tools, they also used the night sky itself as a clock. By mapping the positions of stars and planets, they could predict when certain celestial events would occur. The Egyptians, for instance, used the heliacal rising of Sirius, the star's first appearance just before sunrise, to mark the beginning of their calendar year. This connection between timekeeping and astronomy was crucial for eclipse prediction, as it allowed them to calculate when the sun, moon, and earth would align. The mastery of timekeeping wasn't just a scientific achievement, it was a cultural one. In many societies, time was intertwined with religion, agriculture, and governance. Calendars dictated when to plant crops, when to hold religious ceremonies, and even when to wage war. By predicting eclipses, ancient civilizations demonstrated their understanding of the cosmos, reinforcing their connection to the divine and their power over the natural world. This legacy of precision and observation laid the groundwork for modern astronomy, showing us that even without advanced technology, the ancients were capable of incredible feats of prediction. As we reflect on these ancient timekeeping methods, it's clear that their innovations were more than just practical tools. They were a testament to human curiosity and ingenuity. By studying the skies and measuring time, they unlocked the secrets of the universe, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. The legacy of ancient eclipse prediction is a testament to the power of human curiosity and ingenuity. These early astronomers, armed with nothing but keen observation and a deep desire to understand the skies, laid the groundwork for centuries of scientific discovery. Their methods, whether it was the Babylonians meticulously tracking lunar cycles or the Mayans crafting intricate calendars, were born out of a relentless pursuit of knowledge. And while their tools were rudimentary compared to today's technology, their insights were anything but primitive. They uncovered patterns, predicted celestial events with remarkable accuracy, and left behind a legacy that continues to resonate in modern science. One of the most remarkable aspects of their work is how it bridges the gap between ancient and modern understanding. Take, for example, the Antikythera Mechanism, an ancient Greek device often referred to as the world's first analog computer. This intricate machine, designed over 2,000 years ago, could predict eclipses and track planetary movements with astonishing precision. It's a stunning reminder that the roots of our modern scientific achievements stretch far back into history, nurtured by the brilliance of those who came before us. But it's not just their discoveries that inspire us, it's their approach. Ancient astronomers didn't have telescopes or satellites, but they had something equally powerful: patience and perseverance. They spent lifetimes observing the heavens, recording data, and refining their models. This dedication to understanding the universe, even in the face of limited resources, offers a profound lesson for us today. In an age of instant gratification, their work reminds us that some of the greatest discoveries come from sustained effort and an unyielding commitment to learning. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of these ancient stargazers is the way they connected humanity to the cosmos. Their observations weren't just about predicting eclipses, they were about making sense of the world and our place within it. For them, the stars weren't distant, unchanging points of light. They were a living, breathing part of their culture, their mythology, and their daily lives. This holistic view of the universe, blending science and spirituality, continues to influence how we think about the cosmos today. As we look back on their achievements, we're reminded that the quest to understand the universe is a shared human endeavor. From the ancient astronomers who mapped the skies to the modern scientists who probe the depths of space, we're all part of the same journey. Their legacy isn't just a historical footnote, it's a living, breathing part of our ongoing exploration of the cosmos. And in their stories, we find not only inspiration but also a deeper appreciation for the timeless human drive to uncover the mysteries of the universe. From the Babylonians meticulously tracking lunar cycles to the Mayans crafting intricate calendars, ancient cultures achieved what seems almost impossible without telescopes or computers. They didn't just observe the skies, they decoded them, blending mathematics, mythology, and sheer ingenuity to predict celestial events like eclipses with astonishing accuracy. These weren't just scientific feats, they were acts of storytelling where the movements of the sun and moon became part of their cultural identity, woven into rituals, myths, and even architecture. It's a testament to their deep connection with the cosmos, a relationship that went far beyond mere observation. What's truly remarkable is how these civilizations, separated by vast distances and time, arrived at similar conclusions. The Babylonians recorded patterns over centuries, creating tables that predicted eclipses with precision. The Mayans, meanwhile, built observatories and developed a calendar system so advanced it still baffles modern scholars. And let's not forget the Chinese, who saw eclipses as cosmic messages, meticulously documenting them to guide their rulers. Each culture approached the challenge differently, yet all shared a common thread: an unwavering curiosity about the universe and a determination to understand its mysteries. As we reflect on their achievements, it's impossible not to feel a sense of awe. These ancient astronomers didn't have satellites or algorithms, yet they unlocked secrets of the cosmos that still resonate today. Their work reminds us that science and wonder aren't opposites, they're two sides of the same coin. And perhaps in exploring their methods, we're not just uncovering the past, we're rekindling that same spark of curiosity that drove them to look up at the stars in the first place. So let's keep exploring, learning, and marveling at the ingenuity of those who came before us. If you enjoyed this journey through ancient astronomy, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the past. The universe is full of stories waiting to be told, and together we can continue the legacy of discovery that began thousands of years ago.